Malo, talofa. My name is LADI6. I'm an MC from Christchurch, New Zealand, and you're in Auckland. Welcome. And hip hop still essentially is about peace, love, and fun, and having fun. And it started out like that for me, and it still carries on like that. I couldn't do it unless I was having fun, or unless I was enjoying it in that. And yeah, I still think hip hop in New Zealand still is essentially about having fun and doing it out of the love of a love for hip hop, or the love for whatever it is that you do within the art form. And yeah, the thing about Samoan culture is a lot of it is art based anyway. I grew up in Samoan culture groups my whole life, sort of thing, and at family barbecues we're always singing and pulling out the guitar, and so it's all very similar to hip hop. We've got dance and we've got singing in there, and so, for islanders to get into the hip hop culture, I think that would be one of the big main reasons why, is because we're artistic people by nature, and hip hop is an art form infused with Pacifica Māori culture when hip hop first began in New Zealand. But I think now, with like internet, TV, Sky, all that stuff constantly pushing people like 50 Cent and all those other rappers and Snoop Dogg and that in your face, that it's becoming more Americanized. Whereas back in the day when we had Upper Heart Posse, Damn Native, people like that, Phil Style was doing his thing, people were rapping in Samoan, people were rapping in Māori, but these days it's a little bit different. We still got like Nesian Mystic that are promoting Nesian style, which I think is short for like Polynesian style and stuff like that, that are still going hard. But I think gradually it is becoming a little bit more influenced by the African American hip hop, because it's so accessible over here. It's always on TV and you're always watching it. So where it did begin, I think, more with sort of Māori speaking raps, where people are rapping in Māori, and that is sort of a little bit phasing out. But I think that it will just come up and down as people become more aware of their culture, because New Zealanders talk about stuff that is uniquely New Zealand. If you are a New Zealander living in London and you hear like a King Cap song like Savage Thoughts, you'll know that that is a Kiwi song by the content, maybe not necessarily by his accent or by the beats, but mostly by the content and listening to what it is he's saying, because most MCs always speak about issues that to do with living in New Zealand. We don't know anything else. We're at the bottom of the world. We don't know how to talk about gangsters or pimps, or rolling around with 45 down a pants or whatever. We don't know about that. We know about indigenous people's struggle. We know about things to do with our little island down here. So I think that on a global scale, that is what I think will stand out most of all, or will be the point of difference between us and everybody else. Yeah, and of course the fusion of Pacific Island instruments, because we have a lot of unique instruments that can only be found here, and Pacific people are the only ones that know how to play them.
Why is that here? I think it's a brand thing.
Yeah, I think it is a brand thing. I think it's a brand thing, is why Pacific Islanders specifically, and Māoris have adopted hip hop cultures, because they see other brownies doing good. They see hip hop as a way for them to make money without having to be really, really educated. Or having to go to university, even though you can go to university now and do hip hop papers. But I think it's like. And I also just think that it's ingrained in us to want to dance. It's ingrained in us to want to, there's great orators, Samoan orators, that have the position as orators, and they stand in the whale, and they are the only ones that talk, and that's where I feel like MCs, where they, how they relate to that, I think that they relate it through that, even though you could be a New Zealand born Samoan, third generation, it's still in you. It's still somewhere in you, and I think that that's why Pacific Islanders love hip hop, because it's so similar. It's like nearly exactly the same. It's nearly exactly the same. And so many Pacific Islanders do crime. So many don't want to do that. So many don't want to go down that path. So many want to do something positive with their life. And it's free, you know. It's free to just dance on the street. And it's free to just rap and write your rhymes at home, you know. And then one day maybe someone will give you the opportunity to get up on the stage and pay you for that, you know. So why wouldn't you want to do that, you know? And I think that appeals, the freeness of it. The fact that it is free appeals to all islanders and poor Māoris. Kia ora. He brought them down to the centre, and so we had like scratching lessons and so like it was like every Thursday, and I think the Thursday was when the bus was like ran the latest, you know, it was like 10:50 or something like that, you know, so everyone would rock down to the centre at like 6, and then we'd be there till like, you know, till the very last bus, go get a feed, catch the bus, go home. And it was just like, you know, it wasn't very big back then too. Like I'm talking about like 98, which was like not even that long ago, you know, but it was still wasn't big in New Zealand. It was still a minority. It was had to either order stuff through websites or like go to just the one magazine store that maybe had like you know, a graph magazine or something like that. So it was still really like you were searching for it, and it was a cool little clique around New Zealand that still were the only ones that were into hip hop. It wasn't like big like it is now. It's totally blown big now. And